Hey, everybody, how's it going? It's Jamie, Crafty DIY Guy, and I'm back. I've got some home decor DIY projects for you today that I'm super excited about. Also, these are kind of seasonally generic, we'll say, with the exception of like one. All of these projects are good for you to do now. You can do them for the fall. You could do them for the summer. These are not necessarily anything that is Halloween specific or fall specific, with the exception of one. And these are going to be some hopefully cool and easy projects for you as well. If you are one of my long-term subscribers, one of my long-term friends, my OGs, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you being here. And if you're brand new to the channel, or maybe you've never even heard of the Crafty DIY Guy before, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification button below so you'll always hear the chime whenever I post something brand new. If you're just checking out the channel for the first time, welcome also, and I hope that you will consider being a subscriber. All right, guys, let's jump into the video. For project number one, you're going to need one of these round sun mirrors and also one of these round candle mirrors that you can find at Dollar Tree. First, you're going to go ahead and remove the backing. You're also going to remove the prongs. You're not going to need any of this. Then for our frame itself, I'm just going to take some antiquing wax and just kind of sporadically put it on the frame itself. Now, this is unfinished wood, so it will take any kind of paint or stain, which is fantastic. And as you can see, I'm just kind of going very sporadically and very liberally over this. And I'm doing that on purpose. I don't want this to be completely covered in all wax, and I don't want this to be completely the same shade. So go ahead and add your antiquing wax, and then go ahead and just take a cloth or a paper towel and just kind of rub it through. Now, I'm going to be using this Folk Art Multi-Surface Gold Metallic Paint. I love this paint, and what's really cool about this is that it's going to kind of fill in those areas on the sun that aren't completely covered in antiquing wax. So you can see that right now I'm just going to go very liberally over the corners, and I'm doing this on purpose. Now, I'm going to also take my cloth and I'm just going to start to spread this around and dab it a little bit. And then when I get the color that I like, I just take my brush, I put a very light amount of antiquing wax on there, and then I'm just kind of blending the golds and the browns together to just give me this really gorgeous kind of muted gold brown that I seem to be obsessed with. So go ahead and glue your mirror on the back. Pretty standard here, nothing much to show. And you've got the perfect little tea light holder like you see sitting here on this tray. Or you could put it on a little easel and it could be a very sweet looking little framed mirror, which I also love. Or put a hanger on the back and hang it on the wall with your other handmade mirrors. And for our next project, you're going to need one of these Dollar Tree frames. I love this frame because it comes with that twine, and it's also got those little clothespins on it that hold that little sign in the middle. All of this is super cute, and we're going to reuse some of this, but for that little centerpiece that's hanging on the clothespins, you can just kind of push that aside for right now. Also, I managed to grab some of this great buffalo check fabric from Dollar Tree's Crafter Square. So we're going to go ahead and just peel off that kind of floral, wallpapery looking backing there. You could even leave it depending on the fabric that you're using. Since my fabric was black and white, I wanted to make sure that all of that was removed and completely gone. And now I'm just literally going to cover this cardboard backing with my piece of fabric from Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. Now for this one, it's pretty easy because you can just line it up with the squares. And just kind of decide which way you want to place it. And then all I'm going to do is take some hot glue and just do a little wiggle of some hot glue down and literally just cover this cardboard backing with some hot glue. This is a great way to do it. It's super easy. It holds very well, and it's just down and dirty and very easy. I don't know how else to say it. It's easy. If you need to trim away any of your excess fabrics on the sides, go ahead and do that. I am using this fantastic pair of scissors from sliceproducts.com. What I love about these scissors is that the blade is actually made of ceramic, so it's pretty hard to cut yourself with these. And what's really cool is that Slice Products donates a portion of all of their sales to autism. I think that's really cool, and I will link it below. Now, for the rest of the project, just go ahead and add the rest of the glue and just glue all those edges down, and then you have a perfect, nice flat piece that you can use for your frame. After everything is dried, go ahead and take your twine and just tie it right back around your frame and do it in a knot in the center. If you want, you can also add a little bit of glue to that knot. That way it will stay together. Also, you're going to want to make sure that you leave the twine a little bit loose. That way you can put those clothespins right back on there. And once your glue is dried, go ahead and take your cardboard covered fabric and just put it right back into the frame like so. You can use those little pins on the back to help hold everything together. It works out really, really nicely. Now it's time to personalize. Well, for mine, I'm going to do one version where I'm going to take some family photos. This is my mom and my Aunt Lillian. These photos were taken from Thanksgiving up in upstate New York a couple years ago. And I loved this time. It was such a fun time with family. And I thought this would be kind of a cool, sweet way to honor my Aunt Lillian and my mother, whose name is Lola. Once I cut out those photos, I just simply used a glue stick and put them right on the back of those wood ornament leaves like so. Another way you could do this is to take a ornament that is your favorite kind of ornament and just suspend it from the center of the frame, kind of like I've got here. I think this is super cute as well and very different. You could also take a Dollar Tree leaf cutout, add a piece of twine, and then include one of your favorite Dollar Tree florals, kind of like I've done here. And my next DIY is definitely leaning more towards fall. We're going to take the coveted pumpkin form cut out from Dollar Tree and also some of these wood letters that I picked up in Crafter Square. Now, I did not have a E, so I took a B and just kind of trimmed it down to make an E. So that's why my E looks a little funky. Now, go ahead and remove the raffia and the tags and all that good stuff from your Dollar Tree pumpkin. And then we're just going to take everything outside and spray paint it this gorgeous orange color. And while my spray paint was drying, I did go ahead and paint my letters with some white chalk paint. And now I'm just kind of arranging them on my pumpkin to kind of figure out the best placement. Once I've done that, I do start from the middle and work my way out. That way I am sure to get a kind of somewhat even layout of my letters. I want to make sure that everything fits properly. And if I start from the middle and then work my way out from the left and the right until I've completed my word, that usually is a good formula for me to make sure that this doesn't look like a hot mess. Now for this next part, I'm going to cover my stem with this raffia 2B ribbon stuff that Dollar Tree sells. I have not ever seen the burlap version of this before, but I absolutely love it. It kind of smells like burlap. It goes on like ribbon. It kind of goes on a little bit like twine as well, so it's kind of cool to work with. I wish I could find more of this. When I went out, I only picked up 3 packages of this, and I would love to get like 8 packages of it because I could see myself using this as a substitute for twine for a lot of different projects. So you're going to go ahead and just add a little bit of hot glue like you saw me there, and then you're literally just going to start wrapping your stem of the pumpkin until you've got it completely covered like so. The last thing I'm going to do is add some Dollar Tree foliage to the top just to give it a finished look. And when it was all dry, I took it outside and hung it on my front porch. I absolutely love the way this looks. I think it is the perfect complement to my fall front porch decor. And for my last project, we're going to use 2 of these Dollar Tree frames. These houses are really cute, and this one looks kind of like a frame. This one is more solid, and it has these embellishments on it. Whichever ones you pick, you're going to want to make sure that they fit together kind of like so. And then this is left over from my rake wreath project that I made. I will link that below if you happen to miss it. I did decide to go ahead and remove the twine that was on my little house here, and I'm just going to replace it instead with this ribbon here. I did pick this up at Dollar Tree, and it's kind of a twine and burlap kind of a combo, and I actually really like this a lot. So I'm going to add just a little dot of hot glue in the middle and then just start wrapping that ribbon all the way around my house, kind of like so. And then I took some of my cotton twine and just created a little bow with it and just glued it in the center of my ribbon and then added some embellishments with some wood beads on the end of it. For house number 2, I'm just going to chalk paint the inside and then take some antiquing wax and just cover the outside edges with that antiquing wax kind of like so. I then took a little bit of white chalk paint on a sponge brush and just kind of lightly went over the edges of house number 2 just to give it a little bit of a whitewashed look. And then once everything dried, I took my hanger and just clipped off that part that went over the door. And now I'm going to hot glue this to the back. I know the hot glue definitely was not strong enough for this, so I did end up adding some duct tape to the back of it. And it held really, really well. You can't see the duct tape at all, and it worked like a charm. So if you wanted to use hot glue or E6000, go for it. Duct tape works perfectly fine. Now for the other part of the house, or the house number 2, I am going to take that and just add a generous amount of hot glue to the back of it, and we are just going to glue it down in the center of our house frame, kind of like you see here. I added a simple twine hanger to the back, and this is what it looks like on the wall. I love this. It is the perfect addition to my house. It is great for hanging keys or dog leashes or anything you may need right before you walk out of your front door. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe and give me a like. Thanks so much, and take care.